Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with the Cuban sandwich. That's right, as promised, I'm going to show you how I go about putting together a Cubano sandwich. And I really don't do that many sandwich videos, since if you give your average person on the street a list of sandwich ingredients, they can generally figure out how to put it together without a video. But here we're going to make an exception, because the sandwich is so, well, exceptional. And to get started, the first thing we'll do is put together our secret sauce, which is going to be equal parts of mayonnaise and yellow mustard. No, not Dijon. All right, we're doing a Cubano, not a Franco. But anyway, we'll do equal parts mayonnaise and mustard, and then finish that off with a little shake of cayenne. And then we'll go ahead and give that a mix, and that's it. And then once our sauce, which is really a spread, has been mixed up, we will move on to the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so for this epic sandwich, we're also going to need some pickles, which must be dill and preferably hand-sliced lengthwise. We are also going to need some sliced Swiss cheese, and please use something nice. I forget the name of this one, but I remember it was pretty fancy. And then we'll also need some thinly sliced, preferably smoked ham, as well as some kind of roasted or pulled pork. And whereas some chefs prefer thick slices of the pork, for me the sandwich is so much better if we use torn up pieces like this. And while that gray meat might not look impressive in the pan, it used to look impressive, since we're using our famous paper pork for this. So that would work beautifully, as would our pulled pork shoulder recipe, or any one of our carnitas recipes. But you are going to need some type of pre-cooked and hopefully succulent pork. And then what we'll do once we have all our fillings pulled together is prep our bread, which in my case is a day-old loaf of Cuban bread. And what I like to do is trim off both ends. You don't have to, but come on, the birds have to eat too. And then we'll split that in half, since I think half a loaf makes the perfect Cuban sandwich size. And then, of course, we'll have to split that open, taking our time, being careful to get it as even as we can. Oh, and another thing we're going to go over on the blog is whether it's better to use fresh bread for this or day-old Cuban bread. It's a little controversial. But anyway, once our bread is prepped, we will apply a generous amount of our mustard mayonnaise spread to both sides. And please try to go all the way to the edges. Only a psychopath would leave part of the bread unspread. And then once that's set, we'll start building up our sandwich, starting with a couple slices of cheese, followed by a few slices of ham. And of course, you will be determining exactly how much you're going to put of everything, since you are, after all, the Phyllis Diller of how to filler. But that looks like a good amount to me. And then once our sandwich has been hammed, it's ready to be porked. So I'm going to transfer over a very generous portion of our broken up paper pork, which, by the way, must be heated up before it's applied. All right, this should be steaming hot, except I'm always scared to shoot steaming things. Plus, they always cool down as I'm moving the camera around. So while this doesn't look very hot, please pretend it is, since that is one of the keys here. And then once our pork shoulder has been applied, we'll go ahead and top that with our dill pickles, which, as I mentioned, have been hand-sliced lengthwise. Hey, if you want to use machine slice, go ahead. It just won't be the same. And then we will finish our masterpiece off with 2 more slices of cheese. And we'll go ahead and press on the top of our bread. And that's it. Our Cuban sandwich is ready to grill, which I'm going to do in this nice heavy cast iron pan. And we will toast this over medium heat in just a little bit of melted butter. Although, you know what? We probably should have used a little lard next time. And once that's placed in, what we'll need to do is press it down somehow, which I'm just going to do with another pan. But anything flat and heavy will work, including things like bricks wrapped in foil. And all we're going to do here is toast that for 3 or 4 minutes per side until that bread is nice and crisp and browned, and everything is heated through, which, by the way, is why it's so important your pork is hot. Okay, if you fill this with cold pork, by the time that got heated through, your bread would be burnt. And of course, if you have one of those panini presses, this sandwich is exactly what those things were made for. So before you do this in a pan, check your garage and your closets and your cabinets. You may have one stuck in the back you forgot about. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and toast that in butter or lard over medium until we think it's perfect, at which point we can cut that in half and eat it. And because people complained I didn't scrape the crust in the Cuban bread video, let's have a little listen to the crispiness before we cut. Oh yeah, the sound of success. So we will go ahead and cut that in half. And while admittedly this is not the most colorful or visually beautiful sandwich, it makes up for that in literally every other way. So I went ahead and served that up with some taro chips. Plantain would have made more sense. But anyway, we will serve that up with the chips of our choice. And while this may appear to be nothing more than a hot, cheesy meat bomb, it's actually not super heavy and very, very well balanced. Yes, we do have a lot of richness from the cheese and the ham and that succulent pork, but all that is balanced very nicely with the tanginess of our mustard sauce and our pickles, with everything being encased so wonderfully in that crispy hot bread. So just an absolutely stellar combination of taste and textures. And I could have easily gone on for another 5 minutes talking about how good this was. But I decided to stop filming and eat the rest, which turned out to be a great call. But anyway, that's it. My take on the Cuban sandwich. I really do hope you bake off a couple loaves of this amazing bread, and then give this incredible sandwich a try very soon. So head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.